Hi, I'm running this workshop through Design Your Careers. Design Your Careers is a nonprofit organization and a central platform that strives to showcase everyone's talents or skills by running various applied education and hands-on learning-free workshops. This is DYC's impact in numbers throughout our community. DYC engages global communities and empowers youth across the world. DYC's platform provides youth with limitless opportunities and gives leadership recognition for their contribution to stand out in colleges and future careers. To learn more about DYC, please check out these links. My name is Mounika Mukkapati, and I am a junior at Montgomery High School in New Jersey. I first started playing the piano when I was in first grade, and I still enjoy playing to this day. I have participated in many piano competitions and evaluations. Coming back to my workshop, this course is a basic introduction to the piano. A piano is a musical instrument and it is often used in pop and jazz music. This course will consist of 5 lessons where I'll go over the notes on a piano, how to read the notes on a sheet of music, and how to play the music on the piano. This is a small and interesting course to give students a general knowledge on the piano. This self-learning pre-recorded course will give you the opportunity to read notes and play the piano. The format of this course is session-based. There are 7 sessions, and students will need a computer with a microphone or speaker to listen and watch the videos. So now, our first lesson is the notes on a piano. The piano has 88 keys. 52 of them are white and 36 of them are black. The letters used to play songs on the piano are A through G. The letters are repeated, so after A, B, C, D, E, F, G, the cycle starts again. So it looks like this: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and so on. So how do we know which letter goes with which piano key? On the piano, we can see a pattern of black keys. Some have 3 keys and some have 2 keys. So when we go to the group of 3 keys and pick the middle one, and we go to the right white key, we know that that key is an A. So if we look at our diagram on the slides, we can see that there is a group of 2 keys. Right next to that, there's a group of 3 keys. Right next to that, there's a group of 2 keys, and then there's a group of 3 keys. This pattern goes through all 88 keys of the piano. Now, to find our letter A, if we go to the group of our 3 black keys and pick the middle black key and go to the white key that's right next to it on the right side is our letter A. So that's how we can find A throughout the entire piano. So now what about the black keys? How do we find those? We need to think about every black key as an extension to our white keys. So each white key has a flat note and a sharp note. The left black note of the white note is called a flat, and the right black note of the white note is called a sharp. But not all white notes have a black note to the left and right. For example, the letter C. So let's take a look at the letter C. Here we can see that there is a black key to the right of C, but there is no black key to the left of C. So now how do we know what C flat is? Because we know that our black key on the right is C sharp, since our sharps are always to the right, but we don't know what our C flat is because we don't have a black key here. If there is no black key on the left side, whatever white note is on the left side is our flat. So here on our letter C, our left note is B. And there is no black note here. So this white note B would also be our C flat. So now we can conclude that every white note has a sharp or a flat, but that doesn't mean it's going to be a black key. It is possible for the sharp to be a white note as well as a flat note. So now how do we read these notes? There are 2 clefs when we're reading notes on the piano. There is a treble clef and there's a bass clef. The treble clef is the higher clef and the bass clef is the lower clef. So now let's take a look at the treble clef first. The treble clef looks like a fancy G. If we look at the clef, we can see that there are 5 lines and 4 spaces. Each of those spots has a specific note that's assigned to it. For example, the letter G. The letter G is line 2. If we go up another spot, we need to go to the space, not the line, since letter G here is in the space, we need to go to the next space. Then this space is A. Like we talked about, the musical alphabet is from A through G. So that's why after our letter G, we went straight to A. So now after A, we go to B. B is on the line. And then we go to C, in the space, and so on. In these spaces, we can see the acronym FACE, F-A-C-E. We can memorize that by remembering FACE. For the lines, the acronym is E-G-B-D-F. The full form for that is Every Good Boy Deserves Fudge. That's how we can remember it. So again, our spaces is F-A-C-E, FACE, and our lines are E-G-B-D-F, and that's for Every Good Boy Deserves Fudge. So now let's talk about middle C. Middle C, it's most important note on the piano. To find the note on the piano, we can always make sure by finding middle C first. Let's say we were confused about where G was. Once we find middle C, it's really easy for us to find G after. When we're reading music, the middle C note always has a line going through it. So as we can see here in our diagram, we have C. This is our middle C. There's a line going through it. For our lower C, we have a line on top of our middle C with middle C underneath it. And for our high C, we have a line below our middle C and then middle C on top of it. Whenever we're looking at the piano, we can always find middle C really quickly by seeing where the company's name on the piano is. Once we spot the company's name on the piano and we go to the note that's right under it, that is where our middle C is. And then our next middle C would be a little higher, obviously, because that would be high C. But the middle C without any bass or without any treble or high, that is right underneath the company's name. So now let's take a look at our bass clef. Our bass clef looks like a reverse C with two dots on its side. For the bass clef, in the bottom first space, that is an A. And we know that because if we move up the alphabet using the lines and the spaces, then we can see that we end up at middle C. The more you play and the more you look at the notes, it'll be easier since it is a lot of memorization. So now our third lesson is whole notes and half notes. So a note is an indication to press a key on the piano. There are different types of notes. The first type of note that we will be looking at is a whole note. A whole is when we hold a key for 4 counts, or in musical term, it's called beats. So a whole note would be 1, 2, 3, 4. We play on the first beat and hold the note for the next 3 beats. A half note is 2 beats, so it would be 1, 2. We hold the note for 2 beats, so we press the key on the first beat and hold it for the second beat. The next note we'll be looking at is a quarter note. For this note, we do not need to keep pressing it or holding it. A quarter note is just 1 beat. We press the key for 1 beat and let go. An eighth note played for 1/8 of the time of a whole note. In other words, it is half the duration of a quarter note, is a quick tap on the piano of the key. Now, just the way there is a whole note, a half note, a quarter note, an eighth note, and a 16th note, there are also rests. So we know that a whole note means that you're pressing down a note for 4 beats. Just like that, a whole rest is where you don't press anything for 4 beats. A half rest is where you don't press anything for 2 beats. A quarter rest is where you don't press anything for 1 beat. An eighth rest means that you don't press anything for 1/8 of a beat. And 16th rest is that you don't press anything for 1/16 of a beat. So when you're playing the piano, usually your music has a right hand on the top and your left hand on the bottom. So there's 2 sections where you need to look at. There's the top section and the bottom section. So let's say we had notes in our right hand section and there was rests in our left hand section. We keep playing with our right hand, but we rest our left hand, vice versa. So let's say that there was notes on our left hand side, but there were rests on our right hand side. We play notes on our left hand and we rest on our right hand. If there were no notes in our right hand and our left hand, and there were only these symbols, then that means that we need to rest for the specific amount of time that there is. So one way that I like to remember these symbols easily, to know that this is a whole rest, this is a half rest, this is a quarter rest, this is an eighth rest, and this is a 16th rest. For a whole rest, I think about it as a line with a little square underneath. So a whole rest, there's no really, I don't really have a specific thing that I differentiate it with, but for a half rest, the way I think about it is that, as you guys can see, for a half dress, it's kind of little prickly things on the top. So I just think about it as something. So this line is a plate. There's a piece of cake on it, and someone just took a bite out of the cake. So there's only half of the cake left. That's how I think about it for a half rest. A quarter rest, I don't have anything as well. I just think about it as a normal rest. An eighth rest, I just think about it as a 7 plus 1, because it kind of looks like a 7. And then for a 16th rest, it has an eighth rest with two eighth rests. So 8 plus 8, 16. And there's 2 of them, so it's 16th rest. So hopefully that helps. But I also recommend just coming up with your own little tricks to differentiate each of these. There are also some other symbols that you guys can see on a sheet of music while playing the piano. There is the term pianissimo, which has the symbol PP, and that means that you want to be really soft when you're playing. Don't press hard, just they're really, really soft taps on your piano. Next term is piano. It's P. That also means soft. You don't press it as lightly as you would for the pianissimo, but you still want to do it a little softer. And the next one is mezzo piano, which is you will see MP for. You usually see MP or PP. You never really see P, but MP means moderately soft, where it's a little louder than soft, but it's not too loud, but it's louder than soft. And the next one you might see is mezzo forte, which means slightly loud, which is than your normal playing, just a slight more amount of just being loud, so you wouldn't want to press your piano key a bit harder. And then the next one is fortissimo, which is FF. This means it's very loud, so you want to press it really hard. And the next one is Forte Piano, which is FP, which means that you want to press it really loud and slowly lift your finger so it becomes soft. And then Sforzando means a sudden accent, so you press it really, really fast and you want it to be loud. And a crescendo means that you want to slowly increase your volume, so you want to start off soft and then slowly get louder and louder. And diminuendo means that it's gradually softer, so you start off loud and slowly go softer. So you want to start off pressing it really hard and then slowly not pressing hard and pressing it softly. Okay, so the next lesson we're going to be talking about are piano chords. A chord is created when more than one note is played at once and contains 2, 3, or more individual notes. On the piano, this means you push down more than one key at the same time. All piano chords contain a root note. This is the note the chord is named after, as well as one or more additional notes. Basic piano chords often consist of only 2 or 3 notes, while the more advanced chords tend to incorporate even more notes. The most common type of keyboard or piano chord is a 3-note chord. A 3-note chord contains a root note and 2 other notes. Most often, the notes that produce the intervals of a third and fifth above the root note. So the root notes that we're going to be taking a look at are A, C, D, E, F, and G. So for A major, which means that it's a higher chord, would be A, C sharp, E. A minor is A, C, E. C major is C, E, G. C minor is C, E flat, G. D major is D, F sharp A, D minor is D F A, E major is E G sharp B, E minor is E G B, F major is F A C, F minor is F A flat C, G major is G B D, and G minor is G B flat D. So all of these 12 chords that either they be major or minor, they're all chords that are often used while playing the piano, and they are very important to know since it will be easier as we keep playing to like know which note is which. And lots of these three note chords are usually found in music after one another, so it's really good to memorize them and use them as a warm up before we start playing the piano. Before we start playing the piano, it is important to talk about hand positioning. Hand positioning is really important to make sure that your hand doesn't cramp while playing and your fingers are placed on the piano properly. The music you can play can sound very clumsy and is easier to press wrong notes if your hand position isn't right. So the first step is to place your hand on the piano. Curl your fingertips. A trick to help with curling your fingertips is to imagine that there's a ball underneath your hand. So the way you would grab a ball, you would have to curl your fingertips to hold it. So that's how you need to imagine it when playing the piano. Also, make sure that your wrist is up instead of being down and resting or arched. This you can imagine it as if you had a glass of water on your hand. If it was resting, the glass would fall over and the water would come out and the glass would break. If it was too high, the glass would fall onto the piano, the water would spill, and the glass would also break that way. So you want to have your hand so flat that if you place the glass of water on it, the glass would be balanced and the glass wouldn't fall and any water wouldn't need to spill. Our next video is finger numbers. Finger numbers are also a crucial step before playing the piano. Each of our fingers need to have a specific number that needs to be memorized before playing. Using the correct fingers or finger numbers means that we automatically know which finger to use because we will be aware of its hand positions and we can recognize scales easily when they occur in pieces. So the numbers are 1 for your thumb, 2 for your index, 3 for your middle, ring for your 4, and 5 for your pinky. This is really easy because it goes in order, just thumb to pinky. So 1 for your thumb, 2 for your index, 3 for your middle, 4 for your ring, and 5 for your pinky, just like in the pictures above. So now our last video is on how to use the notes we learned to play the piano. We know how to read the notes on a sheet of music, and we know where the notes are on the piano. So now we just play the piano by matching the notes on the music and press the corresponding note on the piano. Pretty simple, right? It takes time to get used to reading the notes and the notes on the piano, but like I said, with time and practice, you will get used to it. This is a lot of memorization by knowing which note on the piano because slowly it is you will have to memorize, G is in the middle to the first two black notes in a pair of three notes. But after a while, once you keep playing and keep practicing, it will just stick in your mind and it will become much easier. So now I'll play the song Happy Birthday and I will attach to this video and I'll be playing the song Happy Birthday through the app GarageBand. Okay, so some final remarks before we play Happy Birthday is just making sure to be really, really slow when you're playing, especially since we're beginners and we want to make sure that we're pressing the right note and we're making sure that we're going slowly and we're able to hold our note for as long as we need. Obviously, in the song and this sheet of music that we have in front of us, we don't have any notes. We just have the letters of the notes. But once we are more advanced and we have an actual sheet of music with notes on clefs, and we always just want to make sure that we're going slowly. We're making sure to see what is a quarter note. Okay, this is a quarter note. I only need to press it for one beat. Okay, this is a whole note. I need to press it for 4 beats. And then when we see rest, we need to see, okay, so we need to take a rest for a beat because there's a quarter rest. And then also making sure that when we see some cymbals, like a crescendo, that we're gradually getting louder. And then if we see like a PP, we want to make sure that we're playing softly. And yeah, so that's why, since we're only beginners, we should always try to play really slowly and make sure that we're getting everything that we need to into our music. And yeah, but once we start getting more advanced, it is a lot of fun to go faster and learn more different types of lessons and learn new music. All right, so that was me playing Happy Birthday through the app GarageBand. I also really recommend playing Happy Birthday on a piano or a keyboard if you have one. If you don't, you guys can also play through GarageBand. It's so much fun, and I really hope you guys find it fun as well. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I hope you guys learned something from it. Thank you.